Let's talk about the weekly paying dividend ETFs, specifically the options-based ones, not leverage-based, different account. Today we are covering the 18 I have in this account. We're going to go over each and every one of them, see how they've been performing, see the dividends that have been paid out, and by the end of this video, you will know which ones are making the most money and which ones are losing the most money. And let me tell you, some are making a lot of money and some are losing a lot of money, unfortunately. So we're going to get into all of the details in this video for you guys. Now, I will say, if you're interested in dividends, in ETFs, in investing, you are in the right place. So don't forget to like the video and to subscribe so you don't miss future updates on tracking all of these weekly and monthly high yield income ETFs. Let's roll that intro. Start off, I do want to say we are now positive by just under $21 in this account, and we are on week 32 or 33 of this challenge, so that's not a great return in the amount of time that we have allocated to it. But we had a crazy market reversal. We definitely had a couple weeks to a couple months of a bear market, and we've seemed to have flipped on that. So we'll see. A lot of these are now in the green, I'm happy to say, and you will see that on this page there was a lot of red. That's because this is not factoring in the dividends. At the end of the video, I'm going to pull up our dividend tracking spreadsheet, and it's going to break down what's actually paid the most in dividends, what is the highest in returns, and the lowest in returns, of course, or the highest in deficit. So a lot of details in this account. I will say I'm splitting these accounts up based off options and leverage. So I have a weekly leverage account. That one has $600 in it. And then we have this one, which is kind of the covered call and the YieldMax account, because it has most of the YieldMax funds and the covered call ETFs, and this one has $1,800. Now to start, I started with $2,400, so both accounts are in the green currently, which is phenomenal. I'm pumped to see it, and I'm going to do a quick overview. We're going to look at all these very quickly, break down the AUM, see the dividend yield, and move, because there's so many of these now, 18, that these videos can't go on for 45 minutes. So I hope you guys enjoy. We are going to start out with, of course, the Defiance ETFs, ticker IWMY. Try to keep it at like 45 seconds each. IWMY, it hasn't moved much in price since last week. We're still down about 31%. It did bounce back nicely and the dividends were pretty solid, so I'm not going to rag on this one too much. We have an AUM of 112 million. It is climbing back up ever so slightly, and a dividend yield of 96%. That has climbed up a little more because the price fell ever so slightly. So not pumped about that. I want the yields to come down and for the paying to be more consistent, but you never know. This one, I would say, is the definition of NAV erosion. Has not performed well. When the market swings high, it does well, of course, but all in all, it's been tough. Last couple of distributions, we had almost 34 cents, we had 23.5 cents, we had 24 cents, and 24 cents. So it has been consistent, but this NAV erosion is eating away at our investment. QQQY is doing a little bit better. We're down 25.5%. Now I'm going to pull up this chart. We can see it's very similar to IWMY. The AUM is a little higher at 150 million, and the dividend yield a little lower at 80%. But all in all, it has not performed well. I would say this and IWMY are consistently fighting for the worst performer in the account of the original 8 that we purchased. There have been some new ones that are really beaten down, but they're kind of bouncing back. Now, when I'm looking at the dividends down here, we can see that these are all per one share. When I pull it up on my tracking spreadsheet, it's going to be per the money I've invested, which is roughly around $100. So there is a difference there. Now, we had 29.5 cents, we had 18 cents, 18.5 cents, and 18.5 cents again. So pretty consistent. It bounces around a little bit, but until they fix this NAV problem, this is not what I'm going to be investing in for retirement or for consistent passive income, because I just don't like seeing my capital erode away. And I will say, I think there are better options out there in the weekly format that are returning more and eroding less. But we'll get to those. I will point out this next ETF is also by Defiance, ticker WDTE, and has been a consistent winner in the account. If you don't believe me, let's check it out. Despite being down almost 19%, the chart is a little bit better. We can see our buy was at 42.18, and we have fallen quite a bit since then. But the dividends, although being lower with WDTE, have been very consistent. We have a lower AUM as well, below 70 million, and a dividend yield of 52%, which is very solid. Hard to keep up a yield that high, and thus we see the NAV eroding. Let's check out those dividends. We have 35 cents, we had 19.4 cents, we had 20 cents, and now we've had 20 cents again. So I like that Defiance is being more consistent with their last distributions, which, by the way, distributions are the ETF dividend. I kind of use both. Maybe I shouldn't, but I do. consistent. I like it. I like WDTE. It is one of my favorite ones. It was doing the best in the down market, and since then has trailed off ever so slightly, but we'll wait till the end and see exactly how much money it's made us. Ticker RDTE is the first of the RoundHill ETFs, and I will say it has been rather disappointing. It's down 24.5%. The dividends have been high, but the price drop has been crazy. We can see the AUM of 132 million and a dividend yield of about 30%. It's actually roughly in the 40% range, but it's hard to consider owning this long term. I will say I've bought this and I've owned it for quite a while, and I'm not a fan. I need it to shape up. If it doesn't, I will be selling it. But its dividends have been pretty good. We had 31 cents, 25 cents, 24 cents, and 24 cents. The dividends have been more consistently high, I will say. But you have to factor in this NAV erosion, which is the entire point of this challenge. We're looking at the dividend tracking spreadsheet and seeing which of these are even worth holding. And so far, RDTE, again, disappointing. But some are making a rebound, including RDTE. But one of the fan favorites I love to talk about is ticker QDTE that we're going to look at right now. Down 20%, but the dividends have been very solid. It looks so similar to RDTE. It's kind of funny. We have an AUM of 750 million, and a lot of buying has been going on lately, as we can see down in this corner. We see a dividend yield of 45%, which is pretty accurate and crazy. I can't imagine a 45% yield paying out weekly that doesn't have some form of NAV erosion, but in these green markets, they're able to make it easily happen. So a couple distributions that we have seen. We saw 24 cents, 22 cents, 31 cents, and 18 cents. This last one was a bit of a drop. I'm not sure why. Definitely don't like to see that, but it all depends on the implied volatility of the market. So they really can't control it. All in all, I want QDTE to shape up a little bit more and have a price chart that looks closer to XDTE that we're going to look at right now. Down only 15%, but I will say it has not been one of the better performers because it pays out quite a bit less than QDTE. So we have seen it fall, but QDTE is falling even more, but paying out higher. All in all, making it the better returner, at least as of last week. We'll see what this week holds. $390 million market cap and a dividend yield of 31%, which is, again, a little lower. That's why the payments are a little bit lower. And last couple distributions, we have 34 cents a share. We have 25.5. We have 33.5 and 24. So pretty consistent, maybe between the 20 and 30 range. Not too upset about it. I really need to see the total return to make my opinion final, but XDTE was one of my favorites a few weeks ago, but now there are some that are really outperforming these, and we're going to get to those in just a minute. Of course, I have to throw in ticker WEEK. It is up 0.02%. This is the T-bill weekly ETF, meaning you're getting a 4% return total for the year. It's paying out 4%, and the price isn't supposed to fluctuate that much. And it hasn't. We've seen it from almost 8 cents to almost 8 cents to almost 8 cents to almost 8 cents. AUM 100 million. A lot of people I've been talking to are buying this for the weekly income just as a place to park their cash. And I like that idea because the dividend yield, again, the dividend yield is 4% a year, not a month, a year. And I like this idea because banks give you like no percentage on your money, right? They give you like 0.01%. If you guys don't know this about me, I can't stand banks. I really can't. There's a few that I think are phenomenal, most of which, again, I don't like them. So I think it's a great idea to park money into something like this and make that money over and over and over again, rather than simply waiting on the bank to give you pennies. Absolutely pennies. So definitely one people don't love. It's not as popular, but for just uninvested cash that you're not sure what you're going to do with, it's one of my favorites. Our RoundHill Bitcoin ETF, ticker YBTC, it is still moving a lot in the after hours. We're down 4.55%. It was down 2% like 5 seconds ago. Now we can see it is dropping ever so slightly over the last day, but with Bitcoin rallying again, this thing has just skyrocketed. The AUM is 200 million and the dividend yield is 45%, but it only switched to going weekly the last couple of months, beginning of January. So we don't really know how it's going to perform long-term wise as a weekly payer. I hope it does well. The dividends so far have been all over the board. They've been pretty high, but inconsistently high. So let me show you. We have 44.5 cents. Then we have 24 cents. 20 cent difference. Kind of crazy. Then we have 26 cents. pretty close. And then we go back to 50 cents. So the implied volatility with Bitcoin must be all over the place, creating some really big dividends, some average dividends. But all in all, I'm very happy with this one, and I am planning on buying in. I don't hold it yet, but I would say I'm already a little bit biased. So take everything with a grain of salt, not financial advice, of course. And let's jump into our newest RoundHill weekly paying dividend ETF. They couldn't make it any easier on me. It's called MagY. So now we have YMag, YMax, MagY, and maybe MagX soon. Who knows? Anyways, we can now see it is up barely. I bought 2 shares, $113 of market value, and it's new. So we're not even going to look at the chart. I haven't even gotten a dividend yet. And then we have CHPY that has been trading a little bit longer, but again, no dividend in this account. That one is down 0.73% from when I bought it. These ones were interesting. I put the buy orders in a while ago, and I never checked on them. So I should have had them like 2 weeks ago, and they just never went through. So that's the way it goes sometimes. And there's so many of these now, it's hard to track exactly when one buys, when one doesn't. But all in all, I will say I have loved Moomoo as a brokerage. You can see I have almost $2,500 in this account, and I have loved buying things in this account. I have loved the availability of weekly payers nearly immediately. I have never seen another brokerage, and trust me, I have 5 other brokerages. I've never seen another one have one of the weekly payers before Moomoo. So if you're interested, they're doing another massive promotion where you get 8% on your uninvested cash in your account. Down below is my link. Check that out. If you fund your account, we get a little bonus, gives us a referral, and that helps me do more of these challenges. So again, for those of you that are interested, check that out. All in all, once we get a dividend from both MagY and CHPY, we'll start talking about them. But until then, let's move into our YieldMax ETFs. We have so many YieldMax funds in this account now. It's wild trying to keep track. So I'm going to group a few of them together, but GPTY and LFGY launched at the same time. We can see GPTY is down 14%. The chart's not awful. It is bouncing back. And I will say these launched at probably the worst time in the market. And you can see my buy up here was at $50. So it's beaten down. AUM's a little lower, 20.5 million. The dividend yield, we don't know yet. Probably going to be in the 40 to 50% range like most of them. But we can see the last few distributions. We have 25 cents. We have 30 cents. We have 27 cents and 27 cents again. So not bad. I like GPTY. It reminds me kind of QDTE and XDTE, where GPTY so far has paid less in dividends, but held more of its NAV, and the vice versa to LFGY, which we can see is now down 21%. But LFGY has dividends like I have not seen. They are massive. The AUM also is a lot bigger, 5 times bigger at 111 million. And the dividend yield, again, is a lot higher, I will say. But if you don't believe me, look at these. Almost 41 cents, 47 cents, 75 cents, and what was our last one? 47.5 cents. Very solid, very high. And it's been consistently high, which I really like to see. So depending on when you buy this thing, it could be a monster. If you had bought this at $30 and it's up to 40 plus those huge dividends, you could make a lot of money on these. Now, I didn't do that, of course, because, well, I don't know. I'm dumb. But I'm definitely impressed with this one. It's bouncing back, and I'm really curious to see how high it can go. Then we have the YieldMax versions of the RoundHill ETFs, starting with QDTY, which is up 6.06%, phenomenally since I purchased it. AUM of 7.5 million, and the dividend yield probably high, but we don't know yet. We had 32 cents, 33.5 cents, 28 cents, and 23.5 cents. So pretty solid. I mean, this chart, they're all very new, but it has bounced since I bought it. Seems like I bought that one at the right time. RDTY, both of these have bounced nicely, is up 3.5%. And we can also see, again, the AUM is below 5 million. The dividend is going to be probably even a little higher, I would imagine, than QDTY, but only time will tell. The last couple of distributions, 45 cents. Wow, this thing's paying out a lot. 47 cents, 46 cents, and low 25 cents. So closer to what we've seen from LFGY. Not quite as high yet though, but this one could be a front runner once we've seen it trade for a little while and we make some money on that initial purchase as well. We only have 4 left. Here we go. Moving through. XDTY is down 14%. We have an AUM of 13 million and a dividend yield, we're going to estimate 30 to 40%. Last couple distributions, 30 cents, 31 cents, 27 cents, and 24.5 cents. So This one has fallen. Look how similar this chart is to RDTY and QDTY though. They did all launch at the same time. I'm not sure how I bought SDTY and not the other two. That's how it went. And in the end, it saved me some money. So don't think that SDTY is just a worse performer. They've all performed pretty roughly since their inception, but the dividends definitely do vary, which we're going to see in just a minute. Now we need to go to I would say the weekly ETF that is taking the world by storm, ticker ULTY. Despite being in the red by 2.8%, this thing is not negative in the account, I will say. Since going weekly, it has trended upward with a little bit of downward momentum recently, but not consistently. Huge AUM of 300 million and a dividend yield, according to them, of 144%. It's closer to like 90-95% from what I've seen, but who knows? We've seen a couple of selling days, nothing too scary quite yet. The distributions, we had 8.4 cents, 9.4 cents, 11, almost 12 cents, and now 10.6 cents. And you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot lower than these other ones. And it is. I mean, LFGY paid out 75 cents. The difference is the price per share. ULTY is currently $6. That is wild. You can buy an insane number of shares and get some massive dividends, and the power of compounding with this one is phenomenal, because that means the more shares you get, the more dividends you're going to get, of course, and because they're so cheap, you just keep buying shares over and over and over again, and the dividends just continue to grow. And that compounding ability, because it is weekly, is amazing. And I didn't know this. There's not much of a difference with compounding when you compare monthly to weekly. I did some research. I checked out with ChatGPT, and there really is kind of a negligible amount, I would even say. So that surprised me. Kind of a bummer, but who knows? Who knows? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Is weekly compounding really that much better than monthly? I'm really curious with what you guys say. But first, let's check out our two fan favorite YieldMax ETFs, some of the OGs, YMAG and YMAX. YMAG has disappointed me ever so slightly in the recent couple of months. It's down 17%, but I wanted it to really outperform in the down market, and it didn't. It fell pretty hard. So we can see the AUM 321 million and a dividend yield of 45.6%. Not terrible. I do like that it is bouncing back, but we still have a ways to go. So we need this market to keep up. The last couple distributions, we had 9 cents, 10 cents, 9.6 cents, and then 20 cents. So every once in a while, these ones do pay out higher. I'm not sure what's been going on with the dividend, if they've adjusted how it's paying. I don't know, because the dividend all of a sudden seemed to be like it was a lot higher into the 15s and 20s, and then it changed. But I know that YMAG also used to pay, it must have changed, because it used to pay cyclically, meaning like 1 week out of every 4 was a really low payment, and we haven't seen that. So I'm guessing they adjusted it, and my brain is just a little bit behind. But all in all, YMAG is still one of my favorites in the account. It is doing pretty well, as you will see in just a moment, but not as well as YMAX, which I would say is probably the fan favorite. Despite being down 19.6%, YMAX has consistently been one of the best performers in the account, with consistently high dividends and not as bad NAV erosion as we've seen. It's also the largest because it's $780 million in assets under management, or AUM, and the dividend yield of 60%, which is crazy. That's just insane. And it's been climbing back up. We need it to continue. Same thing with YMAG, but we'll see how it does. I'm really, really pumped that I bought this one when I did. I've been tracking them for a long time, and I am in the green as well, which is good news. So really, really happy with this one. But let's check out all of them on our spreadsheet and see which ones can make the most money. So before we dive into the details of each dividend, I will say, again, we haven't had MAGY or CHPY pay a dividend in this account yet. They have been paying for a little while, though, a couple weeks at least. And this is per what I've invested in each ETF. It's not per share. So if you come on here and you say, wow, you're lying because YMAX didn't pay $1.24 per share. I know. And I will say in the comments, you are correct. It is because that's how much I have invested. So there's a difference. That's why it looks different than what they show on Moomoo. Now we can see some pretty solid dividends this week. We had IWMY 72 cents, QQQY 56 cents, and WDTE 40 cents. Similar to what they paid out the week prior. We have QDTE 54 cents, a bit lower, but not terrible. Definitely wish it was a little bit higher. XDTE at 72 cents, kind of mid-range where it's been trading, or paying out, I should say. And RDTE at 71 cents. Great. We have YMAG, again, very consistent now with $1.22 last week and now $1.23. And same with YMAX, $1.22 the prior week and now $1.24. Then we have YBTC, 99 cents. We missed out on the Bitcoin run the week prior because it's kind of a little bit delayed based off the price of what Bitcoin is doing. So a really nice dividend this time. Love to see it. LFGY went from $1.50 to 95 cents, but 95 cents is still a phenomenal dividend. GPTY, 54 cents. SDTY, 49 cents. Nothing out of the ordinary with these. ULTY still putting up crazy numbers with $1.86. I don't know how this thing is doing it. I really don't. Then we have WEEK, absolutely insane, the most consistent with 8 cents yet again for what? The 8th or 9th week in a row. Love to see it. RDTY, really low compared to last couple of weeks at 49 cents. And QDTY, lower but not terrible. It's dropping by about 10 cents per payment, but it needs to find its footing. So we're going to slide all the way over to the right and see exactly how much we made this week. And it's $11.99. Not as good as last week, but we had a lot of record-breaking dividends last week, so I'm not surprised by that. Next week, I imagine we will break our all-time record because we have 2 new dividend-paying ETFs that are in the account, being CHPY and MAGY. So I'm really excited to see how those play a role in these distributions and if they can boost our total earnings, our total money made, which I think that they will, but we're getting up to having a ton of these in the account. So I want your opinion. Should I start splitting this account into a couple different ones? Do you want a video on the YieldMax ETFs and then a video on the RoundHill and Defiance ETFs? Let me know what you think in the comments. Should I keep it all together like I have? I mean, this spreadsheet is a thing of beauty, if you ask me. Look at how far back the tracking goes, all the way back to October 2024. Love to see it. The data collected on here is just insane. Absolutely insane. So I hope you guys have enjoyed so far, but we're not done yet. Let's check out the main winners and losers in this account. We're now on the positions tab of the tracking spreadsheet, and I've zoomed in quite a bit. So if you're on mobile or on the TV, I hope it's easier to see. Let me know in the comments. I do read your comments. It's just difficult with changing some of these aspects of the videos. But let's see what is making money and what is losing money. So we're going to slide all the way over to the right here, and we can see IWMY down almost 5%. QQQY down 2.41%. WDTE is in the green, 1.24%. Like I said, it's been outperforming the others and a lot of the RoundHill and YieldMax ETFs as well. We have QDTE that is down 0.5%, XDTE down 2.5%, and RDTE that's down 5.85%. Don't love to see it. Now we're going to slide all the way down to our winners, some of our winners, I will say. We have YMAG up 6%. Pretty solid. YMAX is up 9%, and YBTC is up 14% now. Absolutely amazing. One of the best in the accounts, probably the best in the account, based off what I've seen. LFGY is only down 7.5% because those massive distributions. GPTY down 5.5%, SDTY down 8%, and ULTY up 11.6%. I love ULTY. It's one of my favorites now, I will say, quickly becoming one of my favorites. YMAX still has its place on top. And of course, WDTE, just because I've watched it from the beginning and it's held up a lot better than everyone, trashing some of them in the comments. So I like to see it. Now, we have WEEK. Also, maybe a contender for favorites. Just kidding. It's boring as all can be, but it's consistent. Now, let's slide this down even more. And our next one we can see is RDTY. It's up 1.44%. QDTY is up 8.23% because of the large dividend and the very, very solid price appreciation. MAGY is down 1.5%, and CHPY is down 1%, basically. So those ones no dividends yet, but they will be in soon. Let's see what's made us the most money in dividends so far. This is where it gets crazy. So this is just what I've been paid out in dividends since the beginning of the challenge. The ones that are older, closer to the top, have paid out more, obviously, because they've been in the account for longer. IWMY, $27. QQQY, $24. WDTE, $16. QDTE, $25. XDTE, $20. And RDTE, $25. Pretty insane dividends from RDTE. YMAG, almost $27. YMAX, $31.78. Phenomenal. YBTC, $16, almost $17, which if we slide back up, remember WDTE, it's been passed by both YBTC and LFGY, and it's been trading for months longer. So very impressive. Yeah, so $17 YBTC, LFGY, $17.76. Woohoo, good year for the US. GPTY, $8.50. SDTY, $6.45. And then ULTY, $16.18. Pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable. Well, then we have, of course, WEEK with 64 cents, all those 8-cent dividends adding up, $2.36 for RDTY, and QDTY, $1.71. So consistent, solid. It's what I like to see. This challenge has been a ton of fun, I will say. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you are, let me know in the comments so I can continue. And also give me some tips. Should I split it up into multiple videos? Do you guys like the longer videos? Let me know, because it's all about what you guys are interested in. And of course, that we all make money together. And so if you are interested in tracking all my different accounts, the YieldMax ETF account, both weekly dividend ETFs account, my high growth account, my high yield account, aka monthly ETFs, which I'll have a video out about those very, very soon. All of it is available on Blossom. Use my link down below. Follow me on there. I get a $5 referral reward for each of you guys, and it's totally free. So I don't like to push anything on viewers because it's annoying when you get on YouTube and all they talk about is products and blah, blah, blah. So again, I'll push Blossom because it is free, no cost of you guys. And you can see my cost basis for all the stocks I buy for the channel. I think it's like well over $4,000 or $5,000 at this point, which blows my mind. It is. It's got to be at least $5,000, $5,500 probably. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let me know if you like the app. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you found this one enjoyable, chances are you're going to like this one on the weekly pay RoundHill ETFs, and now MST in that leveraged weekly paying dividend ETF account separate from this one. Some of those have been paying insanely massive dividends. So watch that and let me know what you think. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.